welcome back to my channel and to another one. Now this video has been inspired by Cora, where a lady has been talking about a situation that made me think of something that I have been doing for the last 3.5 4 years, and I thought I would share because maybe this can be helpful, and it is the principle of friendship compatilization. Now in the post, the lady talked about how she originally came from the hood and that she have had to work very hard in order, you know, to be upper middle class. We know that going from poverty to even being middle class is the hardest jump to make. You know, we know that it does get easier, not easy, once you're middle class. So shout out to her. And she talked about how when one of her childhood friends picked her up from the airport, from a convention that she went to, she told her about, you know, how she was about to get some Amazon stock and the friend just snapped on her. Okay, she went bazooka according to the post. She was like, you know, we're in the middle of the recession. I, you know, damn near don't know how to feed my kids anymore, and and she said that this came out of nowhere, and you know, and she didn't know what to do. She said that she's considering cutting the friend off, and you know, without surprise, I wasn't surprised that, you know, most of the answers were yes, girl, you gotta cut her off. We don't have time for friends that are not happy for us. You have to be able to be yourself around your friends. Now, I may be weird, but I disagree, right? I feel like, you know, she said she knew her friend was struggling financially. So to me, first of all, she's struggling with an ability to read the room. Like, why would you discuss buying Amazon stock with someone who has to choose between eggs and milk when they go grocery shopping? Like, it don't make sense to me, right? I feel like, you know, sure, there are haters out there, and obviously, you know, this video cannot, you know, cover every single scenario. You have to use discernment while going through life. You know, some friends and even family members need to be cut off completely. You know, they can plot against your life, like in the unfortunate case of Mrs. Robinson, and you know, they just need to go. But I feel like sometimes we are very quick to cut people off where there is another way we could be dealing with them. Now, I am an introverted introvert, okay? I am the most introverted person that you'll ever meet, and I know I'm talking to, you know, a camera right now, but I am, you know. But even I, you know, it gets lonely at times. If you cut off everybody, then you're not gonna have anyone left. And you know, as human beings, we are social animals, so we do need, you know, a little bit of, you know, companionship here and there. So I think because of that, what's best sometimes is to take people from a box and put them in another one. Now, I know that some of you guys may be repelled by this, and feel like, oh, you know, you're being fake, or this is about being fake. You want to be able to be yourself, and but I don't want you guys to look at it that way. I want you guys to see this as in, you know, concealing certain parts of yourself. And you know, believe it or not, you are always concealing certain parts of yourself. You know, for example, if you're a very messy person, you know, at work you always make sure that your desk looks somewhat okay, you know, so you are concealing some part of yourself at work. You know, people who get far in life, in my, you know, opinion and experience, are people who are a little bit, I don't like using the word because it have a negative connotation, but a little bit, you know, manipulative. They know which part of themselves they have to put forward in certain situations and which part of themselves they have to conceal. We are doing this at any given time, you guys, believe it or not. I am a Robert Greene nerd, and my favorite book of him isn't the 48 Laws of Power, it's actually the Laws of Human Beings, and I recommend to you that book because it's excellent. It shows you a lot, it teaches you a lot about human behavior. And you know, human beings are not, all of us, you know, I mean, some more than others, very good at being able to be happy for other people who possess something that we don't have but desire. It's not an area that none of us excel at. Again, some of us may have a level of emotional maturity that helps them, you know, be a little bit more, you know, I guess, happy or joyful for somebody who possesses something they don't have. But as a general, you know, envy is a normal human behavior. I say this all the time. You know, the problem is not envy. The problem is what you do with your envy. Whether you use it as a, you know, motivator to go after what you want, or whether, you know, you feel like you are more deserving than the other person for having it and you gossip about them and So in this one, I want you to think of, you know, friendship compatilization a little bit like men. You know, think a little, you know, men know very early on with any woman that they're dealing with, whether, you know, whether she's girlfriend, whether she's wifey, whether she's a placeholder, whether, you know, she's just, I guess, a one-night stand. And you want to go through your relationships and friendships a little bit like that. You know, you want to be able to, for example, everybody understand that, you know, an acquaintance has to work their way up to being a friend. But it seems like most people don't understand that friends can downgrade to being acquaintances. It seems like for people, you're my friend or you're a stranger. But between friend and stranger, there is acquaintance. How about we put that person there? And that's what I wanted, you know, to talk about in this video and share with you, that sometimes people are not, you know, they're not hateful, you know, so much so that they would harm us. It's just that we have to recalibrate what is safe to discuss with them and what isn't. Now, this process obviously can be a grieving process, and it can be a difficult process. You can use journaling, for example, to remind yourself that, you know, it may not be safe anymore to discuss XYZ with this person. Understand that as a rule of thumb, do not discuss areas where you're blessed with people who are lacking in that area. You know, I think that this is good advice. So I'm giving you all that. You know, do not, if you're doing well financially, avoid discussing finances with people who are not, because, you know, they can't really help you. I mean, as a rule of thumb, you know, discuss investing with people that have way more than you. They have tips for you. I mean, why would you discuss buying Amazon stock with people who don't know the difference between stock and bond? It doesn't make any sense, right? You know, if you are, you know, happily married and have children and, you know, are living in a happy-ish, you know, all marriages, you know, have problems, and all relationship obviously, but you know what I mean, 70% of the time it is good. Avoid discussing, you know, your relationship with a friend who is always, you know, going through it with F-boys, who is on the app, and, you know, we know that the dating pool has been in it, you know, because really she can't really relate, right? Etc, etc. Y'all get my point. If you're doing very well in one area of your life, avoid discussing it too much with people who are not doing very well in that area. Another reason why I'm saying this as well is that, you know, sometimes what we see as, you know, talking about our accomplishment, being happy for ourselves and sharing that with people we love. I'm gonna ask you here, and this is very hard to do, you guys, so, but I'm gonna ask you to be mindful of when is it that you get into, you know, bragging territory, right? I feel like a lot of the time we feel we're talking to our friends and family members about, you know, what we are blessed with, but I feel like sometimes it does come across as, you know, bragging. We come across as braggarts. You know, some of us do have a braggadocious spirit, whether we like to admit it or not. So try to keep that in check, okay? Because telling your friends about something is one thing, but if you're gonna go on and on and on and on and on and on about it, you know, I understand, you know, that a friend may not be able to or want to listen to you, you know, go on and on and on and on about everything that you have and that they lack for hours. You know, no one would like that. You know, would you like that? I don't think so. But yeah, that's what I think. I think that, you know, sometimes people are, you know, it's not that they're haters per se, it's just that, you know, they are lacking the emotional room maybe to listen to us. We know that, you know, in the case of the Cora, for example, poverty is a stressor, you know, and we know that when you're very stressed, emotional regulations become difficult. So, you know, for me it was a bad moment. I mean, she's still a friend who, even though she was traveling with money, drove all the way to the airport. We know that in most cities airports are far out, to pick up her friend, and she did say in the post that as she wanted to give her the gas money, she didn't want to take it. So, you know, she's not, at least in my book, the way it came across to me, it didn't come across that she was, you know, this terrible person who was so envious that, you know, she was fana and her life. It came across more to me that she was somebody who was quite frustrated, and her friend kept going on and on and on about a certain subject, and, you know, she snapped. Now, again, I don't know all the ramifications of their friendships, and I'm gonna say, you know, some people need to be cut off, okay? But some people don't, and I wanted to share that with you. I feel like with some people we just need to readjust, you know, our expectations of them, readjust the friendship a little bit. What is there, you know, what can we expect, what is it that people have room to give, and what it is that they can't give, you know, adjust our expectation according to that, and voila, you know, you may be able to, you know, still have you a good acquaintance with whom you can go brunching and stuff like that. And I guess this is the last point that I want to touch on as well. Know which friend is for what, right? I feel like, you know, sometimes people are upset because they say, oh, I took XYZ to this place and they misbehave. And I have to say, again, in this situation, I cannot judge the person a little bit, because if this is your friend and you've known them for a long time, you kind of know whom they are for the most part. Now, of course, someone can totally go out of script and decide, you know, to embarrass you and just be for no reason. But, you know, for the most part, we know our people, right? So know what friend it is that you can take where, and, you know, do not take people to places where, you know, that, you know, they will embarrass you and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, you know your friend, so you know if certain environment, you know, are best suited for them, for their personalities, for who they are or not. You know, I know that people, this is kind of frowned upon in the social media sphere. I oftentimes see people on Twitter complain about, you know, certain friends only invite them to do certain things, but I don't necessarily think that that is a bad thing. I think that sometimes you bond best with people over shopping, sometimes you bond best with them, you know, over talking about investing, sometimes you bond best with them over reading, you know, talking about books that you guys read. You know, it's not always the same. I don't think that we need that one friend for everything. I think that's very hard to get. I think that that's a very heavy expectation to have for one single person. I think that's a lot, you know. I think that sometimes it's okay if we space it out and expect, you know, different things from different people. You know, the friend, for example, if one of your friends is struggling financially and you love to go out and eat in, you know, nice fancier restaurant, it's okay to have, you know, one acquaintance with whom you go who is, you know, at the same place than you financially and who can afford to go and you know, spend $200-300, you know, on a meal. I don't think that there is anything wrong with that. And you know what's that gonna do as well is help with the resentment that can build up with having to be the one to pay every single time. Trust, as someone who's been there, you know, there is resentment that comes with having to be the one that has to pick up the bill every single time just because you want to go with that particular person. So, you know, just think about that. But I guess that's all I had about friendship compatilization. You guys, I have a very hard time saying this word for whatever reason. If you like this video, do not forget, you know, to give it a thumbs up in the comment section down below. Please, 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 you guys, let me know, what do you think? Do you think that, you know, we have to, you know, it's best if we put, you know, our friends in different boxes and know exactly, you know, what we can expect from who, like I do, you know, and our family members as well? Or do you think that, you know, no girl, we need to be able, you know, to expect everything from, you know, one person? They need to be happy for us all the time and which I personally believe, you know, that it's a very, you know, unrealistic expectation to have from anybody. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel as well for thought-provoking, okay, content, and I will talk to you guys very soon. You guys, I'm in the process of revamping the channel again, and I promise I'm going to post a video every 3 days, okay, lifestyle content as well as, you know, videos like this. So, you know, stay tuned for that. I am excited about almost 800 of you. Crazy giveaway coming soon. And yeah, I will talk to you guys, like I said, in 3 days. Bye guys. Mwah.